Here's card number 1. This card's got an evening evergreen background. And this is crushed curry, the yellow. And the paper behind there with the scene on it is what you get in the New Horizons DSP. And I took a piece of that DSP, which has different things like this on it.
Oh, that's nice.
And we'll use another piece of it in another card, something like that.
I thought we were going to have to be doing a bunch of,
And so this is all in the papers. And the water that I have in the next card is going to come from a piece of paper like that. You'll see that. Anyway, the scenery is already on there. So let me kind of show you what you get here. You're going to get your evening evergreen and an envelope and 2 pieces of gates. And they do have little pickets on the top, so you gotta watch where you're putting them.
What's the die set that fence?
Those are the Horizon dies. This is the piece of DSP. And what I did, there was some orange up here. What I did is I cut the 6x6 right in half at 3. That way I could get 2 cards out of 1 sheet of DSP. And then I cut all the orange out so that I would just have it look like the sky up there on the top. And then I turned it like this and cut it off to meet it's 4 1/4. So this piece is going to measure 3 inches wide because it's half of a 6x6 by 4 1/4. And then it's going to layer onto this piece, which is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then the rest is pretty much standard card-based stuff. But the first thing you're going to do is we're going to take the stamps from the On the Horizon stamp set. And we're going to start off with this tree. And we're going to use the tree and the birds and the thinking of you in this set for this card. Now, my particular card that I made first is the opposite side of this paper. Well, it was. I don't know. Maybe I did happen to get 2 of them the same. I thought I pulled the other side. Anyway, when you put your trees on here, it may not look good in this spot. So you may have to move the trees over to this side. It's kind of wherever you want to put them, really, wherever it seems pleasing to you. And I think on this card here that I moved them out too far in the middle. It looks like they're on an island or something. I'm going to try to correct that a little bit with this particular version. And I'm using Evening Evergreen. And I have a nice halo possibility there. So we're going to clean that off. And let's see if I can put them kind of over here so they don't look like they're out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I think that looks a little better. And you could take your marker, your Evening Evergreen marker, and fill in that little bit there if you'd like to make it look more like they're standing on ground. And then, believe it or not, that's all you do with the trees. And then we're going to put some birds on there, and then we're done with the stamping on the front of the card.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. So I'm going to stamp the birds with black. And depending on how you cut your paper, some of these have more cloud space than others. But it doesn't matter because birds fly in front of mountains as well. So I'm going to make sure I get some of the birds up in the air. And some of the birds are going to fly in front of the mountains. That takes care of that. And you have a strip of basic white in here. And we're going to take the thinking of you. And we're going to ink it up. And see if I can get that somewhere in the middle of here. This is just a scrap. It doesn't need to be a certain size. That's not terrible. Then I'm going to take my scissors and cut two like diagonal in the same direction. Sort of like that. And now you're wondering where the color comes from. I'm going to take a light, soft succulent, or you could put this right onto soft succulent cardstock. It has a little bit of a different look when you do that. But when you're coloring over regular ink with a marker, it does not smudge. So you can just color this right in. Alcohol ink will not smudge your water-based ink, or vice versa. Water-based ink won't smudge your alcohol ink. But if you use two alcohols and you use two water-based inks together, that's when the smudging starts. Okay. Now you can do a little bit better job here, Robin. So that's going to go kind of right about there. And then you have to decide where you want your gates. And if you put both of these on here, it's going to be too much. So what I did was cut this one down to only 4 pickets on this side. And 4 pickets on the other side. So I cut 3 off of one side, but I only cut 1 off of this other side. Okay. And then we're going to tumble them down a little. And I'm going to save the gluing of my sentiment until I get my gates down. And you can see where this path kind of goes through here, which is kind of neat looking. So we want to have this gate sort of as an entrance to the path, I think. About here, I think. That's pleasing to me. Oops. Oh, don't set yet, little. All righty. And then I have in your kit a strip of pebble enamel gems. Aren't they cute? There's one in the catalog that is pebbles, and they come in two colors, gray and kind of a copper color. And the other one is sea glass. So if you were doing an ocean front set, which looks very similar to this, you could use the sea glass instead of pebbles.
I ordered some of those. I haven't opened the box yet.
Yeah, they're really kind of cute. So I'm just kind of marking my path with the pebbles, and they're kind of hard to get off of the sheet. So I use the little tool on the end of the take your pick tool. And since they're stones, you really don't want them to look like they're in perfect position. Well, maybe you do. I just say that's because I can't get
That's a good reason.
here. Oops, that one went under the fence. That's all right. It's gone round. They're a little harder to get off than regular gems. Okay, so those are our little pebbles marking the path. And then our sentiment. And I was going to just put a piece of soft succulent in your kit. And I tried it. I just didn't think it looked good. There was something about the kind of variation in the tones of this that I liked a little better than the solid color. All right. I think that's straight. Not really. It is now. Now we're going to mount that up on our crushed curry. You could also use mango melody, or you could use daffodil delight. Anything that kind of picks up this yellow from down here is what I was thinking. Enough.
I'm amazed about the background.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, because it just makes it so simple.
It sure does. And you get 4 pieces of each paper in the stack. So if you have 2 cards out of each sheet of paper, you're going to be able to make 8 of the same card. Or similar, like the other side of the paper looks a little bit different. So, all righty. And then on our
You could
inside.
do that idea with the other ones too, probably.
Pardon?
You could probably kind of use that same idea with the other papers to make it be the landscape
Right.
behind.
And then we're going to take one more time, we're going to take our evening evergreen and our trees. Stamp them right down here for the inside and on the front of our envelope. Then this is dry. So how fast was that? Was that fast enough?
That's pretty quick.
And it's just such a nice little card. And up there. Voila. to Thinking of Views. And of course, you could save these for something else. I don't know what. Or you could throw them away, which I have a hard time doing, but I will.
I was just about to say, throw something away. Are you insane? Never.
All right. This piece, no, another piece. All right. So that was card one. Here comes card two. We haven't done an easel card in forever. So I decided we needed to do an easel card. And this is what I picked out. This is going to be using the Blessings of Home and Love and Happiness stamp sets. And it's called a diamond easel because when you stand it up, it stands on its own on a diamond shape. Okay. And I'm using some of our blue rhinestones, which are nice, or in the kit, in the New Horizons suite came a package of brass butterflies. You could also use those if you like. There's the card. And now I will attempt to, I have to show you the envelope. There's the envelope. And then I also gave you a flap for the back.
Right.
All right, so since this piece doesn't fit in your envelope, I have it taped to your envelope, and then all your other cards are in here. You have a piece of our new denim ribbon. Here's these real pretty blue rhinestones. And let's see what else we have in the kit. Lots of pieces parts. One of them is your card base. And this was made by taking your standard piece of cardstock, cutting it the long way at 4 1/4. And then we're going to score it at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 5 1/2. And then you fold it like an accordion, and that gives you the basis for that card base. So the first thing you gotta do is, because we don't want this to open up here, we're gonna glue that together right there. So we're gonna put our glue. We used a lot of Tombow this month on the cards. I just seal that.
Robin, I have seen this card online and wanted to make it.
Good. Glad to oblige.
You have ESP apparently.
Yes, the DSP is the here's the catalog. Blessings of Home Suite. It's pretty near the front, I think. No, that was Valentine. That's the windmills. Here's the Horizon Suite. So you get everything that's pictured here on this page. The paper, the stamp set, the dies, the ribbon, and the pebbles. Blessing of Home. Blessings of Home Suite is bigger. It has 2 bundles in it. It has the Flowers of Home stamp set and dies, and the Honeybee bundle. And then this paper is called Heart and Home Designer Series paper. Okay, and I'm using this piece right here.
Mhm.
And the back side of all the pieces have this wood grain pattern on it. It's a different wood grain pattern on each piece, but should you run out of the blue paper, you can cut one of the other ones and use it for the wood piece. You don't need to cut into your blue, what you want to save for that. All right, so the first thing we're going to start off with is matting our first piece up here. And these have tiny little borders, unfortunately, but because the paper is so pretty, you want the paper to show more than anything. I will try to glue them quickly, but appropriately. So there's the first one. And the second one on the front, this one. Not screen there.
Sorry.
Love it. All righty. So then we're going to take our piece of white from the inside layer. This is a piece that's going to wind up here. So let's put the blue on so we know where we're going. And I stamp that with a sentiment that says, here's to another year of love, laughter, and happily ever after. And that comes from the Love and Happiness stamp set right there. That's this one. Yep. So the ink is so far away. Now what did I do? Misty Moonlight ink. And it's Misty Moonlight cardstock, which coordinates with the same set or the DSP. Cross your fingers and get it straight. Oh, not too bad at all. I'll live with that one. And that's going to just get applied right here. All right, and while you have the ink out, you have this little piece. This is cut from the Stitched So Sweetly dies. And it is the second largest one of the rectangles. And we're going to stamp it with Happy Anniversary. This is going to be what they call the easel stop, the one that's going to catch the corner of this. But you can see that the stamp says, Happy Anniversary, my love. Well, if you want to put Happy Anniversary, my love on there, you can. I'm just opting for Happy Anniversary so that I could send it to almost anybody. So I'm taking the Stampin' Right marker, which is the water-based ink marker. Don't use your blends to try to do this because you'll just permanently permanently ink your stamp. I'm going to ink up everything except the My Love. All right. And get it pretty saturated. You can kind of use the side of your tip. And then you're gonna puff on it to moisten the ink back up. And then you're gonna try to center that in the label. I didn't do too bad on that one either. I'm good in my old age. All right, that one gets some Stampin' Dimensionals put on the back of it and then used a little bit later, but I'll put the dimensionals on there now. So that all I'll have to do is peel them off in a bit. Don't peel off now, you'll be sticking to everything. All right, so we'll put that off to the side. Now, some more gluing or taping or whatever. We're going to put these pieces on their respective mounts. And the little borders. Alrighty. Borders. Then you have 2 of these and 2 of these. We need to cut these diagonally to make 4 pieces. Believe it or not, I didn't do that for you. Unless somebody gets the one lucky kit where I did that. So let me know if you got lucky. No, I better not say that. It's Valentine's Day. No, that's not what I meant. Okay. So all you do to cut these in half is put the points right, line them up with the channel. You got to hold them down tight and take your cutting blade and there's 2. Same thing on 2 more. And the same thing with the paper. Now, if you can see the pattern of the paper, it would be better if you did them both in the same direction. It's not totally directional, but it is. One of them would be kind of oblong, which wouldn't be terrible. Can you see the difference there? Like this is going this way and this one's going this way. Try to get them both going the same way and then cut them from the same corner to the same corner. It'll look better on the finished card. That's all I can tell you. It's not a critical.
You know what my grandmother used to say?
It's
if you're looking at that and picking at it, you're looking too close.
Well, yeah, true, but you know, if you're anal like me, yeah.
I know, I get it.
So then you're done with that trimmer. And all the ladies online took these and put them on with tweezers and stuff to protect their beautiful fingernails. But you know, I'm a cowgirl, so. Horseback rider at heart. If my back still was in good shape, I'd still be riding.
I do notice that when the people online use their tweezers a lot. And their what's the mat that, you know, like no stick adhesive mat thing you can.
Yeah. Silicone mat. Yeah.
Lisa Criscio said that one more time, honestly.
So the next portion of the layout here, oh my goodness, that was whoopsie doodle. Thank goodness for glue. That's a good reason to use liquid glue on these. But once they're stuck, they're really stuck. So you have see that there's two that kind of look alike, and the other two that kind of look alike.
Mhm.
I make a pair out of them. Those need to go up like that, and those need to go. I go do a diagonal pairing of them. If you need to be that anal. I don't know what I did wrong to this one, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to have to live with it. Okay. So to get this on here, you're going to remember that these are tiny, itty bitty little borders. So you're just going to kind of lay them out here in a pleasing fashion. Or, oh, that's why that one didn't work. It wasn't going up right. You're me. Dear, dear, dear. Oh, I'm not gonna worry about it now because it'll drive me nuts all day, but we'll just pretend I did it right. I glued it to the wrong side of the paper because I wasn't planning right. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to try to get this in place, and it's got to go in between here, and there's got to be a border around it. But when you close the card, it's got to be invisible. All right. So looks like I have it pretty well in the place that it should be. Then you're just going to take a little pencil tip down here and up here, so you know where to glue that. And if you really, well, I'll get into that later. I'll show you how really anal I get. This is bad. All right, so now we're going to take the tips of our peas and line them up in between those pencil tips, and then I'll erase the tips. Use a good white eraser and only a light pencil that erases real well. Make sure you have a good new eraser, not one of them that turns the paper black one. Because I saved pencils forever around here.
Why do they put erasers on pencils that just smear everything?
Yeah, the old ones. Yeah, the white ones are the best ones.
Yeah. Some of them are that real hard stuff, and all it does is make a mess. It doesn't erase.
So now we're going to lay these out here, giving our little border on the outside. Didn't get a border there. Too much white on white here. And this will go here eventually. but we're gonna wait and do this portion here. Which sample kit somewhere. So you'll get a set of these like this. You'll have your stencil, and then you'll have a blank flower to fit in there to stamp. I have mine stamped already. And we used Misty Moonlight blends and daffodil. This side, daffodil, are they? Yeah, daffodil delights. And then the soft succulent. So while you have your markers out, you can do your envelope too. When you're doing your envelope, when you stamped it on your envelope, put a piece of paper inside of here because the ink does bleed through with alcohol markers. So on this, we just kind of, it's the dark one. I don't want the dark one. I want the light one. So we're just gonna color this. You could also color these with your watercolor pencils and blend them in with your blender pen.
Mhm.
If you do that, you'll want to stamp with stays on ink instead of Memento Tuxedo Black. Because you never want to color watercolor with a water-based base. Because unless you're extremely careful, it'll smudge on you. And you go round and round and round on this until you get the whole thing finished. You get the idea, right?
Mhm. I like blue and yellow.
And I took the black marker and kind of went in on it. You can also take and put this back in your stamparatus after you've colored it and restamp the black on top of there so that you can get that definite image again. I didn't think that was
I saw
necessary.
somebody do that the other day on YouTube. After they were done coloring, they restamped it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going to, I'm not going to completely finish that. So now this is where I was telling you I'm going to get anal. You can decide that this wood is going this way. And so when you open it, you could make it so that the other one goes the other way. And that's what I kind of want to try to do. So you're going to glue the flat, put the glue on the flap. So that you don't go too far. And leaving a little white border. Place your square into position. And then I took my tape runner and did 3 strips across here. Not real long ones, just about 1 inch long. Because then I'm going to take my piece of denim ribbon and make a zigzag out of it. So I have 12 inches of denim ribbon here that I can play. I'm just going to lay it across and across. That's all there is to that. Maybe getting the sticky stuff in the right place is a challenge. So I might have to go back and put a little more in there. So, and then we would trim off these edges. And I glued mine on here flat, I think. No, I didn't. I did pop them up. So you're going to put dimensionals and put the dimensionals here. Put that on the front of the card. And then there is one more piece in here that we need to play with. And that is for the sentiment on the front. I believe it's 5/8. Let me see. 3/8 wide. 3/8 wide, basic white. And we have a sentiment that says, a wonderful marriage is the collection of many small happy moments. And that's what goes across. Get your stamp pad here. Line it up straight on your grid. Right, 3 in a row. Oh, man. And then what I do is make a flag tail on the end, like cutting into the center and then from each corner in. Or you could use a square punch if you want, or you could use the banner punch. I forgot to cut it in the middle first on that one. Have a good strong sharp scissors when you do that. Alrighty, and then you're going. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the end because it's going to go off the edge of the flower. But in the middle, I would put some glue right here in the middle, and I'm not going to do that because this flower is not finished. And then you would just lay it, take your stickies off of there and lay it across, and it would glue to the middle right there, right? And then I have 3 gems in there for you. I put one over here, and one on the easel stop on the inside, which I will show you how to do now. So after you get this all together, you can take a look and see where you want it to look nice when you have it open. You wouldn't want it like that. That's kind of the label does have, oh, I put stickies on there. The label does have to fit on the diamond. You could go past, but you want everything to be kind of covered up when you open, when you close the card. So put this right up, and I got the bottom corners of my label just inside the blue border. Okay, so that's what holds your label up, and then I put another 2 rhinestones on there. So you'll get the total of 4. And then that's that. Now just to do the envelope, you just stamp the envelope and color it the same way. And like I said, slide a piece of something or other on the inside. And then I'll show you how to do the flap, which is no big magical feat. You just put glue on the flap. Or you could use your tape runner as well. And you lay your piece so that the edge of it is right on the fold of the envelope flap. And this piece is just big enough to do that. And you're gonna burnish that so that the glue sets real good. Turn it over and follow the bouncing ball and just cut that right out. I'm aging myself. Do you remember what show that was from?
Rich Miller sing along.
Yeah. We used to sing them all the time. And then the last thing you do then is you take your black ink, or she actually used basic gray. I like the fact that it was a little more substantial with the black. And then I lined this up on here where I thought it would be most pleasing. And stamped. And that's my envelope. Alrighty.
Mhm.
So that one had lots of pieces, but it's not really difficult. And you can opt to color that if you want. She didn't, so I didn't. So our next card is also going to use some more of that New Horizons DSP and set. This time it is using a piece of paper. I can find one that looks like this. Actually, this way.
Pretty both ways.
Here's the card. And there's the matching envelope. The card is, I made it into a sympathy card. She had it as thinking of you. I had it as sympathy. And it says heartfelt love and caring thoughts are with you on the inside. And then it also stands up if you wanted to. So the first piece in the back is just a standard layer of cardstock. It's 5.5 by 4 1/4. Then you take one of these pieces of paper, and since this is going to be 1-inch strips, you can cut 6 strips out of here so you can make 2 cards. This is a 1-inch strip and this is a 1-inch strip. But I cut it down to 1/8 of an inch shorter than the length of the card. So the length of this is actually 5 3/8. So you need strips that are 1 inch by 5 3/8. And it is important to keep them, in my mind, it is important to keep the 2 pieces that you cut together because they will match up color-wise in the sky. If you put this gigantic blob here, over here with this one, it just, your eye won't pleasingly follow, I don't think. It could, because the colors kind of
We'll be
match up.
cattywampus otherwise.
Cattywampus?
Hmm?
Yeah, I think so. So, let me get out a kit here. And this is the other color of the pebbles. It's kind of like a coppery color. And so the kit will have card base, a piece of twine, a bag with some pebbles, and your inside layer, and your outside layer, and your 2 pieces. And on the back side of the 2 pieces, I've labeled them right and left. so that you will know that when you glue this one on, it goes on the right side of the card, and when you glue this one on, it goes on the left side of the card, and you can see that they will match up pleasingly together. Okay, so that's what you do first. And these are even smaller, itsy bitsy little borders. They're just a 1/16 of an inch. And this is Misty Moonlight. Alrighty. Okay, so that's basically the card back. Now, on this piece, these two pieces here, we have two things to do. I can do this without making a mess. First up, we need to stamp this seagrass up here. So I have it set to be about 2.5 inches down from the top of the paper. That's just a pleasing place for me. And I set it up in my stamp apparatus so that if I put this right here, then it's going to line up all right in the right position. And I'm going to use Old Olive. My Old Olive could use a ray ink. So we're going to give it another dose. Then we're going to take this plate off. Oops, well, we didn't need to take that plate off. We need to move this to another stamp apparatus that I have here. This one is going to stamp the With Sympathy. Line that up right in the corner. So it's going to be down there. I'm going to stamp that with Misty Moonlight. Going to leave that up because we're also going to stamp birds. And make sure your birds are flying upright. Some of them have their wings down and some of them have their wings up, but you just want to make sure their heads are heads up. Let's go for it right there. Then you take this piece and you put it through your Big Shot with the Tasteful Textiles embossment folder. And a good way to line this up is to use the line that's right there on the front of the folder. And that's ready to go in. Let's see if I can klutz this thing up here. Oh. Wow. With this, you only need one plate. Back. This is the 3D embossing folder, so it doesn't use as many plates as the standard. I always roll it back just because then it comes back to me and I don't have to reach around over the top of everything to get it.
You have the little big shot that, you know, the new one that's the little guy.
I have not gotten it yet.
Gotten that one yet?
I'm going to. I think I'm going to. But I have 4 of these. I'd like to sell 3 of them. So if somebody needs a big shot that you know of, let me know. I have two regular big shots and 1 big kick, which is the same guts, the same stuff is on the inside. It just is the outside looks different.
I just wondered, I've watched a lot of people use that little one and it, you know, it's so lightweight and stuff. That would be,
Yes. If the dies fit in there, yeah, that'd be good.
yeah.
Missing a piece. Of course, I'd have to be missing a piece in the kit that I want to use. And that gets just laid on there like that. And it sort of looks like water. Sort of. If I can find my glue again, which I put to the side so I wouldn't mix them here. Now, when you're connecting something to something that's embossed, you will want to use liquid glue. It will stay on there much nicer for you. All right, so there's your water. Now you can, if you want, not a necessity. But if you want, you can take and draw some little cattails in here. You can, I probably messed it up. Probably should have just left it alone. But I didn't like the white spots here. So I think when I do it next time that I will just take this stamp and move it over and stamp it again. Just because I didn't like the 2 little blank spots there. She didn't do that, but I did. Now, then you're going to take your piece of Gates and a sponge dauber and some crumb cake ink. And find the pickets going up. Where distress our gate a little bit. And I didn't do a lot to it. I just added a little seasoning. Seasoned wood out in the elements. It's been along the beach coast getting rained on and snowed on, not snowed on, rained on. All right, now then the trick to this one, as you can see here, I have a space behind here. All right, so I didn't put any glue on the top of the middle pickets. I only put glue on each end and a couple in the middle. And then I kind of rounded it a bit like so in the end and kind of pulled it out a little so that they would sit flat. So you're going to kind of do one of those numbers with it. If it goes on there flat, it's no big deal. You can do it flat. Just one of those things that the designer did that I liked, that I thought, well, I'll try that too. Let's see how it goes. So Nothing on the middles. And just a little bit of glue down here on the bottom. And to do this, I just took the end of my scissors, kind of, opened them up and laid it in there for a space behind to glue it. Make it look sort of like snow fence. And then I took it out of there once I had the bottom in place and pushed the sides down. Then you have to hold it there for a little bit. It's kind of going to look like a rundown fence, but that's the idea. And then this piece of seagrass also came from the dies, but it's cut out of a piece of the paper from the kit. So this came out down here. So you can get a lot of them out of there. I got the whole class out of 1/2 of a sheet. And so then we're just going to put some glue along the bottom here and along this side. A couple of the little, what do you call them, branches, blades of grass. And then I kind of started here and laid it along the edge of the water. Right. Next, my pebbles. Taking pebbles, flintstones.
This actually would make a nice male birthday card too.
Yes, it would. Thinking of you, sympathy, birthday. An anniversary card for your significant other. Those little guys are going to be the death of me. Ah, right, there we go.
So you're giving us rocks, huh?
Yeah. Little pebbles. Just a sample so you can see how cute they are. So you get, I think, 5 pebbles on the first, 6, maybe 6, 5 or 6 on the first card and 3 on this one. And then comes your string. Now, the reason I'm doing the string next is because the designer that I copied from, she wrapped it all the way around this piece. And so when you open the card, you can see the string. That didn't go over with me. So I took and put some, and place it on the back just to temporarily hold this guy together here. Made enough that I could tie a tail, and then I ran around twice. Once, twice. And this is hard to tie, so I know that's why she did it the way she did it. But this is the way I'm doing it. I'm going to be careful you don't tear the edge of the paper. And I'm going to put a little dot of combo down there to catch that knot. You can either tie a bow or a knot. I think I'm going to, for the sake of this video, no, I'm not going to cheap out. I'll do a bow. I'll do a bow. But it's fiddly to get it tight enough so that the so that the twine doesn't sag. But then again, you don't want it to tear the edge of your paper either. So, all right. And I'll adjust that with a glue down a little bit later. That just gets liquid glued onto the card base. Yeah. Not happy with this bow. There we go. All right, then the inside, we're just going to take the stamp off of the stamp apparatus and put it on the block. And then we're going to stamp the seagrass down here on the bottom. And the stamp is wider than the paper, so just kind of put it where it's pleasing to you. And I have the other piece mounted up in the stamp apparatus. This, and so we'll make sure it's in the center, which it's not. So that must have come here. Roughly. Let's see if that does it. Yep. And that is Misty Moonlight, which I put somewhere. Here it is. It's the inside of the card. And when you're putting it together, it goes like this. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. That's crooked. You didn't see that. There we go. It's a little better. Okay, then this just gets glued centered in here. And I am going to use Tombow so that if I put it in the wrong place, I have a little bit of a wiggle with the wet glue until it decides to set. And I stand it on end so that both of the edges are even. And then I line it up here at the top. And I know that my bottom will follow. Let's see if I could go a little bit this way. Oh, that's it.
Mhm.
It's a little crooked. My paper I cut crooked. That's what happened there. Well, anyway, that's that one. And then, of course, I did put a seagrass on the envelope as well. I was all into decorating up the envelopes this time.
Apparently.
All right, so one more. This is your Valentine card of the month.
I have my Valentine's done,
Do you?
and I have my St. Patrick's Day cards done.
Okay, this is using something new that Stampin' Up came out with. Let's see if I can find all the pieces to it here. It's called the Bouquet of Love Hybrid Embossing Folder. And what it is an embossing folder that looks like this with a heart and a piece of dirt, a heart, a heart. But then it also comes with a die set. They come together, packaged in the same package. And the die set has a large heart, a small heart, some flowers, leaves, and these labels. And we're going to use this one here. We're going to use that label, and we're going to use this die. And of course, I use the flowers too. I actually have these pieces cut out, so I don't need to show you them. But those dies are in there. All right, so you open up this folder, and you look, and the one side has got a groove. This die fits right in that groove, and it sits in there, pretty as can be, and it doesn't slide around because it's caught in the groove. And then you take a piece of paper up. And I have it marked so I know where the edges of the paper, because I wanted to make sure the heart was in the center. So I put some markings with some ink down here in the corner. This is 4 inches wide. So, you find the center, put the center on 8, and then go 2 either way. And then you close this up. Oops. That's what you gotta watch, is that it wants to move on you until you get it closed up and in the machine. All right. So when you put this in the machine, you're always going to put it in with the fold first. So even though my card is going this way, whoops, let's see, even though my card is going this way, you need to turn this and put it in with the fold first. All right. Just to keep the folder in good shape. Crank it through. And I am not coming back with this one because it's a little awkward. So when you open this up, what you have is a beautifully embossed piece of paper and a separate little heart. And you can see now that, like on any cutting plate that you have in your Big Shot, you're going to see those marks made by the cutter. And this is the heart's got stitching all the way around it. It's really cute. So, excuse me. And I decided that I wanted to put the heart on the inside of my card. Didn't want to throw it away. And I wouldn't have thrown it away. I'd find something else to do with it. So all you do then is layer this all together like craziness. You have a packet with 3 flowers, 1 leaf, some gold string, and a label, and some gems. And the inside layer. The inside layer I am stamping with where did you put it, Robin? Nope. Here's the stamp. Just need to find the proper tool. There it is. One of these is I have set up for stamps that are red rubber, and the other one I have set up for photopolymer. In there, and the inside says, "Where would I be without a friend like you?" And so I'm going to stamp it in a little bit of a darker ink than I thought at first. The paper is Blushing Bride. So the original, my original card, I stamped with Blushing Bride, but it doesn't show up real well. So I'm going to do this one with the same color I used on the inside, which is an old retired color called Regal Rose. But I think we have some other pinks out there that could be used, like Magenta Madness, or you could use real red, you know, in the true meaning of Valentine's Day. You could do that. Dry stamps up. There we go. And then on the label for the front, I'm also going to use that color. Come out of there. And I am going to use Happy Valentine's Day, Friend. That's another one that if you didn't want to put the friend on there, you could just color with a marker and friend off. A bit not to my liking, but I did that anyway. And
Nice label shape.
Pardon?
That's a nice label shape.
Yes, I like it. So now we're going to try to put this all together. Be hard, very easy peasy. Our inside. Outside, we're going to use Tombow because it gets into all of those little nooks and crannies.
You should sell that by the gallon.
Pardon?
They should sell Tombow by the gallon.
Really? I was able to get some extra large ones on Amazon for about the same price that I paid for the little ones, but you have to buy 10 of them at a time.
I don't care. I go through it like crazy.
Yeah, well, just type in, when you're doing your search, go for Tombow XL. All right, so here's your little gold string. You can either leave it just as it is and just kind of, you know, it's one of those wad 'em up kind of free-form gizmos that they do nowadays. Or on the other one, I took it and separated the two strands like you do in embossing, or yeah, like embroidery thread. And I had a little bit more stuff to mess with. So right here, we're going to put some dimensionals on here. I think I like it not taken apart better than I do taken apart. So do as I say on this one, not as I did on the first one. And you can put this anywhere that's pleasing to you on the front of the card. And if you're not pleased, don't use it at all. You know, whatever. Yeah, I got my, there we go. I had my dimensional hanging off the edge. All right, so let's try getting it straight. That would be number one. That looks pretty good. I like that. And then you have two little flowers like this. And one big one. And a leaf. Now I already attached the leaf, but yours is not attached. So just put some dimensionals on the back, or you can put them on flat. I'm going to raise up the large one. Right, like so. And then I will put regular blue on the little one. I probably didn't need to put a dimensional on there because the card is already bumpy with dimension. And then right up here, there's a flower already in the design that this flower will match up on. That right there. And then I have these beautiful little rhinestones. They're Stampin' Up's. Oh, what's the name of them now? I had that in there. They're really pretty. Oh, here they are. They're kind of pinky. They are iridescent rhinestones, basic jewels. So you have three of them, two big ones, or one big one and two little ones. And I'm going to put the big one on the big flower. I'm going to try to do that. Here. And the little ones on the bottom. Yeah, in there. Maybe a little bit. Sparkly. Ready? And then if you wanted to, and I had thought about doing it, but I hadn't given it a try yet. I was thinking on this that you could take a sponge dauber and dauber this with some blushing bride and have the flowers colored. And I still may do that. I haven't decided. Well, there's some blushing bride over here. Let me try. Let's see what it looks like. Experiment. Let me see. Have a pink sponge dauber here. Oh, or we could try one of those new brushes. Let's try the brush. It's fun to try something new. The brushes are nice, however, and they take forever to pick, sometimes to pick up the ink. But I do like them better than blenders. All right, I can't wait. I can't wait. So I think I like that.
Mhm.
I got a little too much in the middle, but yeah, I think I like that with just a little blush of pink. Here. And color done.
Pretty.
Ta-da!
Very nice indeed.
Thank you. So get yourself some of this New Horizons paper if you like that.
Mhm.
And this
Rocks.
fancy embossing folder, of course, is currently unavailable. I just checked this morning.
Mm, okay.
But, you know, if you have the opportunity to get that, that would be nice.
Yeah,
But you can make a wedding card out of this.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then, and
Yep, that would be nice.
where did my pop them up card go? Stand them up, pop them up. I just kind of tossed everything. There it is. Go. There they all are.
Mhm.
I had fun this month. That was a fun creativity. Easy, but